sitting here on a snowy, casual Thursday morning and just decided that I'd like to talk a little bit about something that I've been observing for some time in working with clients. And what it is that people aren't spending the money that they have. And then what I'm seeing is as they get older, now I'm talking into their mid 80s and so, is they're dying with significant assets in some cases, and particularly in IRA accounts. Now, if I go back and talk about this, these IRA accounts, they've been in this savings accumulation mode for many, many years. But what I'm finding is they don't want to start pulling out more than the required minimum that they must pull out by law each year because they don't want to pay taxes. But here's the interesting part of that is if they don't want to pay the taxes and they die with large IRA retirement account balances, the tax burden is simply now shifted to their heirs, to the people, their children, who inherit their IRA accounts. And the tax law changed on top of it back in 2000, at the beginning of 2000, which now says that if your children inherit or anybody inherits your IRA account, that account must be emptied within 10 years. You can take it all in the first year, you can wait till the 10th year, you can take a little bit out over a 10-year period, but it needs to be emptied. So if you add that, let's just say that you die with $1 million IRA or a $2 million IRA, and there's $200,000 a year then with a $2 million IRA that must be withdrawn by your children, it's going to be taxed at their tax rates. So this idea that we have of preserving these IRA assets really is something I think warrants some attention. So I know it's a shift. It's a shift in thinking away from accumulation to decumulation, but and people are kind of stuck in this savings habit, but it's something I think that needs to be aware. You need to be aware of. Now, what do you do about this? And it's going to be a little uncomfortable to start spending money, but based on our planning process, I think the first thing people need to do about this is evaluate their goals. What is it they're trying to achieve between now and their end of their life? What do they want to do? Where do they want to travel? Do they want to buy a vacation home? Do they want to provide experiences for their children and grandchildren with you while you're living, as opposed to when you pass away? Of course, when you can't do that. So that's first. Figure out a plan. Look at the real tax implications. Recognize that taxes are going to have to be paid either during your life or your children are going to have to pay taxes, but evaluate the tax impact. Figure out if you can afford to do these kinds of things and activities or whatever it happens to be. Figure out a plan and see if it's going to compromise you in some way, because frankly, a lot of plans that we see are very overfunded. So spending more and realizing some income tax in order to do that, I think can be something that's very, very attainable, because really it's about creating memories for you and your family, not so much about hoarding the money and then your children receiving this upon your death. So I hope this discussion provides just a little bit of insight to what we see as a financial advisor. Thanks.